Welcome to Mental Music, a podcast made for teens by teens, exploring mental health from our perspective. My name's Gordon.
And I'm Grace. Today, we'll be talking about choosing happiness. Please keep in mind that we are not trained professionals, we're actually 15-year-olds that are talking into a microphone. So don't take anything that we say completely serious, and if you're experiencing any mental health issues of your own, go to our website where we have heaps of useful links, or talk to somebody that you trust.
Today we'll be interviewing a teacher at the Brisbane State High School, Miss Young. She won Teacher of the Year in 2015 and she was a lot of fun to talk to. We'll also be listening to music played by Max Burns, a song called Never Know, a song called Rush by Egg, and a song by Asher Jeffries called On the Inside.
Now we're going to have Max Burns with the Last Slings playing Never Know. So today we're going to be talking about how choosing happiness affects your mental health. And it's something that's quite important, and we're just going to push aside external factors, not that they aren't important, but today we're going to be focusing on how choosing different things in your life can really affect your mental health. So perhaps basic stuff like sleep, when you're learning, with your family, and just keeping just a general balance.
Yeah, and with choices, there's always, because it's a choice, you have to choose between one thing or the other, or maybe several other things. There is always an alternative to what you want to do. So with happiness, it might be sadness or not doing what you want to do. With sleep, it could be staying up, watching a movie, Netflix, kind of stuff. Doing homework, that's always a great substitute for sleep. But then the consequences that come of that, the next day you're not as ready to do work, you're not as focused. But you can happily say, hey, I had a great night of Netflix. You have to take all these things into account when you make choices.
Yeah, definitely. I find myself a lot of the time, just especially if, maybe a year ago, I found myself that I'd spend most of my time after school just scrolling through pages and pages of memes.
The Explore page on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
yes.
This, though it was a very instant payoff, and I'd laugh in the moment and stuff like that, I'd be on my bed and I'd be just reclusively just scrolling and just hissing at anybody as they tried to talk at me. Yeah. And so I then had I went on holidays and I talked with my and I was with my aunt, and I just kind of had this moment, like this little aha moment, and I look back at myself and I go, oh wow, I should actually spend more time not scrolling through memes, and I should actually spend a lot more time maybe doing homework or talking to my family and or maybe cooking dinner and stuff like that. And so it was kind of like a New Year's resolution. And in some ways I still find myself at like 12 a.m. scrolling through pages of memes, but I do that in what do you call it again when you...
You're reserved? No.
I do that in, what do you call it? Like in ration. Moderation, thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, so,
I do that in
yourself.
I control myself. So I found that after I actually started having time in the afternoons where I studied, my grades went up, that's for sure. And... Not by much at first. It went up from
but it is
a B plus to an A minus, and so that's what really it made me happy.
It's an A.
Yeah, exactly. It made me more happy and just more secure, I guess.
Yeah.
And then of course choosing to sleep. So then choosing, oh okay, I go to sleep tonight at 11:30, or I'll go to sleep at 10:30 now because I feel like I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I won't just stay up on my iPad just because.
Yeah, you sort of shift from what you want to do to what you need to do. You realise that your body wants to go to sleep at 10:30, so instead of going through memes for the short-term fun times, you sleep. You choose to sleep. I've moved my bedtime back to 10 o'clock now.
It's crazy. You can't talk to me.
I used to be up at 1 o'clock calling people. It's crazy. I got no sleep last year. It did show in my grades. I mean, I'm not getting as best as I was when I was getting sleep. So that was a choice that I made and that I've changed this year.
Yeah. Also with choosing happiness, I find that you can let things. So just saying like your day at school.
Yeah.
And I mean, this once happened to me. I had my iPad in my bag because our school makes us buy iPads, and so I had my iPad in my bag. And the previous day, so a bird had pooped on my head, and I was not in a good mood the entire day. And so then as I was running up to the train, because I was going to be late to my train, my bag broke, so the strap broke, and then of course my iPad, which was in my bag, that shattered. And so I was on the metal stairs, I tripped over, and I had to pick up all of the things, my bag with my iPad smashed, and I was going, shoot. And as I was running
like a
up...
cartoon. Jeez.
It was.
Yeah.
And then I ran up and my train had just left.
No.
And that was a bad day. And so...
Yeah.
I mean, I've had also bad days, but that was a pretty good example. And so I then chose to be pretty unhappy and pretty salty about it, and I was a bit rude to my mum, I can say that for sure.
Sort of made it worse, yeah.
Yeah, and so that made it worse because, you know, that guilty feeling when you're mean to your mum.
Yes. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Then you look back and you have to apologise to yourself and then to them, and
being salty to mum is not good.
Yeah.
But no, so you can see that in retrospect that I probably should have gone, oh well, I missed my train. I got my hair is full of poop
ruined,
and my iPad is broken, and perhaps I was deserving to be a little bit salty about it, but also I probably should have kept a more happier outlook. So I should have probably I should have looked on the bright side.
I suppose that's pretty extreme. a pretty extreme
Yeah.
situation that you found yourself in. So that there's no real bright side to missing your train, ruining your iPad, and ruining your hair.
And that's just like a physical outlook as well.
Yeah,
Because a lot of
yeah.
people have like emotionally bad days. Like
Yeah.
we've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's
Not
just
feeling it.
yeah, it's just whether or not you want to choose to keep that down, or if you want to brighten up your mood and move past it. So that's another aspect of choosing happiness. Well, anyway, so now we're going to go on to talking about interviewing Miss Young, who was an award-winning teacher at State High.
Yeah, in 2015 she won Teacher of the Year. She teaches English and was in my class last year, and that was a lot of fun.
Pretty jealous.
She's a great
She
character.
seemed pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Grace, she wasn't in my class. She's super jealous. Righto. So yeah, we'll move on to that now. I hope you enjoy.
But wait, before we have our interview, let's first have Rush by A.
I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still feel the rush, I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still rush, I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still feel the rush, I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still rush. I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still feel the rush, I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still rush, I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still feel the rush, I still feel the rush, feel the rush, feel the rush. I still rush.
Right, so hello Miss Young. So we're going to start with a few questions on reflection. So when you became a teacher, what kind of things did you expect would go on in your life in terms of mental health?
Well, that's a very good question, because teaching for me was an afterthought. I really wanted to learn Italian For me, it was more about learning.
Okay.
And then because there was the opportunity to also study and do a double degree with the Bachelor of Education as well, then I thought that I might be able to rise to the challenge, but I was under no illusions whatsoever, because even when I was at school, and you know this, we've spoken about it, that I looked at all my favourite teachers and went, oh, no, I don't want to do that. They work too hard. So I was very aware very early on that teaching is an extremely full-on profession.
Okay, so it wasn't on your list, it was just...
It certainly
the
wasn't,
learning.
because I've always been quite pragmatic, even as a young person.
Okay.
And so, no. I'd had people over the years, especially because of all of my experience in training and management and things like that, I'd have a number of people say to me that, oh, you'd be a great teacher. And I would respond with something like, oh, thanks.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So I was aware that there would be challenges.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And over the past few years, I've heard you receive Teacher of the Year, I think 2 years ago now. So, and you were talking to me about waking up at super early times and stuff like that. So how do you think that impacted on your mental health?
I think that often we look at mental health in terms of having these external forces that, we are subjected to. And as we've spoken about before, Gordon, you know that I do not subscribe to that belief, first and foremost. I always have a choice. Always. There will be consequences, but there is always a choice. It has always been my choice to get up early, and that has come about because I want to spend time with my family at night time and be fully present for my daughter and my husband. And so, yes, it's meant that there have been quite a few times when I've been, tired or whatever, but I still believe in the power of the mind. I believe, how much I believe in learning and the power of our brains and everything, and even the power of the human spirit to be able to rise above any external or any kind of situation that, I was going to say befalls us, but no one will see my inverted commas in the air. Because once again, I just believe that we have more agency than that. So that has been a huge part in me retaining my sanity, I guess, because I have to laugh when I say that, because I know a lot of people think I'm crazy anyway, because I choose to practice happiness. Yeah. And
some people would find that unorthodox.
Yes, but it's been something I've been working on since I was 18.
Okay,
over 20 years now. And that came about through a lot of reading. And I just refuse to believe that life happens to us, and that my choices in terms of my teaching and what I give to my teaching are my own, and I'm responsible for them. And as I said before, yes, sometimes I might be tired, but the rewards in seeing the learning that happens, that's what I'm after. And life is short, and, we make our magic. So,
Okay, and you mentioned family a lot in class and here.
Yes.
And do you think that that spending time with family, as well as finding a good balance between work, that's great for your mental health?
Definitely. We need, as people, and once again, I feel like, because, we've spent a year together in terms of, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's for others as well. Like, we were not put on this planet to live as hermits. We really do need those human connections. They are so important, because we can't do it all on our own. And even in this whole learning thing, in this mental health thing, in whatever it is we're looking at, we're always going to get the best results when we work with others. And when we're open with others, when we can express ourselves, when we can communicate our feelings, be honest with ourselves and with the people who need to hear those things. So yes, family is extremely important. Friends are extremely important. And the other thing that has really helped me in terms of, I guess, maintaining my peace of mind has also been nature.
Yes.
and just being able to stare at a tree and breathe for 5 minutes, even if it's only 5 minutes.
Take it all in, yeah.
Yeah, to have that kind of almost a little bit of like a meditative moment.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the luxury anymore, because that to me is a luxury. It's lovely. Once upon a time, I used to meditate for like 2.5, 3 hours, and I don't have that opportunity anymore because of my choices and because of how I want to prioritise in my life.
Yeah, but of course that leads to the belief that to do one thing it's always better than the next best option. So if you choose to work and be with your family, that's always better in your mind when you choose to do it than whatever there else.
Exactly, because then at least we know that we're the ones that are the deciders.
Yeah.
Do you know? So yes, definitely. And so 5 minutes of kind of meditation or just being present and being mindful is still gold. You know, it need not be hours and hours and hours. We do need those moments, though. We need to be conscious and present. We need to have our friends and family. And we need to be aware that we're the ones making the choices and that our choices will always bring consequences.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on that, because you've been teaching for about 20 years now.
No, I haven't, Gordon.
Well, in a way, you've been learning for 20
Okay.
Yeah, you've been learning for 20 years. And some of that time you spent with students, talking to them as either a teacher or as a friend.
Yeah.
And you've changed your routine every evening, every morning to change the times that some people would find completely strange to them. Do you feel that this strange routine that you have can be considered strange? Do you think it will have an impact on you in your later life as time goes on?
Well, the idea around, because I have had a few people, although I was just talking to another teacher this morning who also gets up at 3, and Miss Dyson used to quite regularly get up at 3.
Yes.
But she, like myself, had done the research around sleep patterns.
Yes.
And so for me, it's a strategic choice that I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night just after my daughter, so that I get those deep sleep cycles in.
Okay.
If I have a limited amount of time, then I'm going to make the most use of even the sleeping time that I have, and make sure that I can benefit from those deep sleep cycles that there are before midnight, and just miss the one between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah, so even sleep for me is about strategy, and so I don't think, it is considered strange by some people, but it works for me.
Okay,
and this is the other thing about mental health, like we don't need to be the same as everybody else.
It's just you can change your biological clock to work how you want it to benefit you in life. Yeah.
Well, and I've always been a morning person.
Yes.
So that's something, like this wouldn't work for my sister, for example, who's always been a night owl.
Okay,
but I think part of that idea of, you know, being well, or rather looking after our well-being, is about being honest with ourselves and our own needs and how we operate best, you know, rather than always listening to what other people think we should and shouldn't do. And we need to be in touch with ourselves a little more as well and be reflective. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So that's a great place to end. So thanks, Miss Young, for coming on our show, and I hope to talk with you soon.
You definitely will, Gordon.
Excellent.
And it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Right, thanks.
I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know all the lies that you're telling yourself, 'cause we're breathing the same air. Lights fell down in December, oh, but it felt so nice in September. Sometimes it comes tumbling down. You're tossing and turning like a child. You say it's chilly, but the temperature's mild, and you're you're asking how long I know them for. Take a breath. I'm just as curious to know what's going on inside your head. 'Cause I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know all the lies that you tell yourself. 'Cause we're breathing the same air. Talking like we should do, but not exactly like we used to. Sometimes these tidal waves are ugly. And I see you're halfway in the door. If I move, will you come closer more? But am I breaking the rules of friction? Take another step. I'm just as curious to know what's going on inside your head. 'Cause I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know all the lies that you tell yourself. 'Cause we're breathing the same air. I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know what it's like on the inside. I wanna know all the lies that you tell yourself. 'Cause we're breathing the same air. We're breathing the same air.
Thanks for listening today, and if we said anything wrong or incorrect, please contact us via anything, and we'll try to rectify our mistakes. We're not all perfect, and we probably have stuffed up, so just send us any of your critical feedback.
Yeah, there's always room to improve. If you have any songs that you'd like to send to us, please go ahead. If you are a music creator yourself or you know someone, please send us your links and we'll be sure to include it on our show.
And if you liked any of the songs in today's episode, please check the description on the songs that were in this episode.
Next episode, we'll be talking about school stress from a student's perspective.
And please check us out on our social links and on our website, mentalmusic.org, or just search us up under Mental Music Pod. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
I'm